The wisdom of five whys and five blames is a technique or a process or a practice or a method which I came to know from the book The Lean Startup.
Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Intro. Welcome to OTech Talks podcast. It's just simply a journal which I'm writing weekly, sharing with you. And our session is session number 78. And we will discuss 5 whys, problem solving technique, and avoiding the 5 blames. And this is very amazing and I think astonishing. For me was the technique and the process which I found it. I read it and I like it because it's going to help each and every one of us how to find out the root cause. It's like a root cause analysis and then how to fix it. That's 5 whys technique. Now, if you're new to the show, new to the podcast, welcome to the OTech Talks. TV. It's Open Tech Talk. It's your weekly sandbox for technology insights, experimentation, and inspiration. With the primary objective of learning and sharing from each other. And thank you so much for sharing your feedback on the emails, on the messages. And we have crossed 30,000 downloads of this podcast. That's, I think, very, very exceptional work which you and me both are doing it. I'm learning from you. You're sharing your feedback. You're sharing your knowledge. You are sharing your expertise with me. So many hosts came. So many speakers came. They shared their insights, how they were doing startups and tech talks. So that's all between you and me. It's a collaboration, learning from each other. Now today we're going to discuss this 5 whys technique or method which I came to know from the book The Lean Startup, which I read a week back and I was going through in detail when I took a shot to the notes. So then I thought to share with you because that's a technique which I think we should start using it. Even if you're working in some organization or even so you're an employee or like me or you're an owner or a startup founder or you want to do a root cause, and even in the production system, wherever you're working, you can use these 5 whys to find out the problem. Now, I would really recommend you to you must read the book, The Lean Startup. Either you're in IT or not, or either you're in any business. It helps you to, but primarily if you're in IT or if you're a developer or you're developing an app, mobile apps or applications, you must read this book. Now, while you will read the 5 whys methodology, it's also essential to understand the 5 blames situation. Because when you use the 5 whys, and it could happen that you will use the 5 whys to find out the cause of the problem. However, frustrated teammates might start finding or mentioning to point each other that this fault is due to you or him or her. And they will try to judge themselves. So they will find out and they will point out that this problem is due to this guy or this girl. And rather than the 5 whys pointing to becoming a good tool, it will become a blame games within the teammates. So that's why we are focusing on 5 whys, and we should also keep in mind and put a practice in place in our organization, in your team, wherever, that how to manage and how to address these 5 blames. Okay, so that's how these are the wisdom of 5 whys and 5 blames. Now let's go to the technique is which is called 5 whys is originating from the Toyota production system, and its theory is that behind every technical problem there is a human problem or human intervention or maybe. So Saki Shifted, the founder of Toyota Industries developed 5 whys procedure in 1950s. Some were saying in 1930s, but in his book, which he wrote it to solve the problems, and he defines this technique in his book, which is Toyota Production System, TPS, beyond large scale production. It's a very famous book, and this technique is still used by the Toyota. And the basis of Toyota's scientific approach, by repeating why 5 times, the nature of the problem as well as its solution becomes clear. And that's how the Toyota has gone and sees philosophy. This means that the decision making is based on in-depth understanding of what's actually happening on the shop floor, rather than on what someone in boardroom thinks and might be happening on the slide decks or in the meeting rooms. And the way he described it, and I'm taking as the text as it is. So we came across problems in all sorts of situations in life, but according to Toyota Production System, having no problem is the biggest problem of all. And even the fact is called a kaizen, which is continuous improvement. It's an opportunity. So whenever one cropped up, he encouraged his staff to explore problems firsthand until the root causes were found. So he used to say, observe the production floor without preconceptions. He would advise, ask why 5 times about every matter what happens on the production floor. Now these rules applies 5 times on each and every aspect of the what we call as on the production system. So what they did is, so an example, we will take our example which is available in the Wikipedia, that the first why is, for example, taken if the vehicle will not start. Why? The first why is the battery is dead. Then the second why, the alternator is not functioning. Why? The alternator belt has broken. Third why, and then the alternator belt was well beyond its useful service life and not replaced. Fourth why, and the vehicle was not maintained according to the recommended service schedule. It's a fifth why, and that is the root cause. And according to the lean startup, now the way he said it, so why did the machine stop? This is the first example that the machine stopped functioning. The why did the machine stop? There was an overload and the fuse blow. Why was there an overload? The bearing was not sufficiently lubricated. Why was it not lubricated sufficiently? The lubricant pump was not pumping sufficiently. The fourth one, why was it not pumping sufficiently? The shaft of the pump was worn or rattling. Fifth, why was the shaft worn out? There was no strainer attached, and metal scrap got in. So repeating why 5 times, we can found that what was the shaft worn out, and that's how you can find out. Now the same example as a lean startup, how they used it in their system, that suddenly they start receiving complaints from customers about a new version of the product that they just released it. So how they followed it, a new release disabled a feature for customers. Why? Because a particular server failed. Second, why did the server fail? Because an obscure subsystem was used in the wrong way. Third, why was it used in the wrong way? The engineer who used it didn't know how to use it properly. Fourth, why didn't he know? Because he was never trained. And 5, why wasn't he trained? Because his manager doesn't believe in training new engineers because he and his team are too busy. So that's how you can find out that what was the reason, and actually he was not trained at all. Here's another example. I will put all these examples in the show notes, and frankly, from the Think, Listen, Learn, that there's you notice that an executive of a company has visited your CRM website a couple of times, and he found why number one was that we saw you were looking at our CRM page. Why are you interested? And the customer or prospect can say, we had heard some nice things about your CRM, so we decided to check it. Okay, why number two? Okay, the representative was the sales guys. Why did you visit the site so several times? Prospect. We really like that your CRM had the option to record the last contract with the prospect. Why number three? And they represented the sales guy. Why is this so important for you? Prospect or customer, because we are doing things a bit differently at the moment and we think that some of your CRM features would help our business. And why number four? Representative asked, okay, why would it help your business? A customer or prospect, well, the spreadsheet system we are using at the moment is not regularly updated with all of the info, and our sales reps end up wasting a lot of time calling the same leads. And the why number five, okay, why isn't it regularly updated? Prospect, well, we often forget to do it right after the call. Actually, this is causing us to lose a lot of leads. And usually there's some of the root cause that, okay, because of an inefficient CRM system, sales representatives were losing leads and they were not able to record all the conversation of the customers. That's how you can find it. Let's go into some couple of more examples and then we can, come back to the more that how you can identify and find out and implement it. Another example of which in the Lean Startup book was 5 whys analysis from IGN, and his account if listed in the site, you can find out in the book, but I'm just giving you some examples on that one. Okay, and the example was that why couldn't you add or edit posts on the blogs? So he was stuck on to add a blogs or post. An answer you got it that any post request right to the article content API was returning a 500 error. And now the professional investment, what you need to do is, okay, we will work on the API, but let's make our CMS more forgiving for the user, allow users to add and edit drafts without errors for a better user experience. So when you find a problem, then you need to also find what are the root causes. After the root causes, how you're going to invest the time or money or the efforts to fix it. Why was the content API returning 500 errors? Now there's a second why. Answer is that based on that ext gem was incompatible with other gems it depends upon. Now if you from an investment point of view, fixing point of view, remove the gem already done to resolve the outage. Third why was the gem incompatible? Answer was, okay, we added a new version of the gem in addition to the existing version and they started tasking it using unexpectedly. And the fourth one, why did we add a new version of a gem in production without testing it? And the answer, we didn't think we needed a test in these cases. Why do we add additional gems that we don't need to do it right away? And answer with the in preparation for a code push, we wanted to get all new gems ready in the production system. And okay, so why are we doing things in production on Friday nights? And then they got it. So all these are the questions which will lead you to from an understanding a root cause analysis point of view. Let's take another couple of more examples and then we will go as a process to find out, and I will put it as a chart that, okay, the problem is, maybe you can find out, okay, our client is refusing to pay for leaflets we printed for him. This is just it's a common example. Okay, that our client is refusing to pay for leaflets or the pages or the brochures we printed for him. That's the problem. Now the first why, delivery was late, so the leaflets couldn't be used. Why? The second one, the job took longer than we expected. Okay. The third why, we ran out of printer ink. Okay. Fourth why, the link was all used on a large last minute order. Fifth why, we didn't have enough ink in stock and we couldn't order new supplies in time. Now we need to find out a countermeasure that when how to fix it. This is from the Mind tools. That find the ink supplier who can deliver at short notice, so we can have a continue to minimize inventory, reduce waste, and respond to customer demand. And then it's not like that, okay, it will be always one that why, and you'll get an answer. It could be that, okay, you ask the why, and then one why leads to another reason two, and then it will lead to another reason third. So it can be a multiple lanes where you need to find out, okay, and go dig deeper until we will reach out to the to the solution or to the root cause of that. What happened or what was the reason on that one. There's so many examples on that one, frankly, the 5 whys. The key idea which I want to share with you that, okay, that you need to, and there's another flow chart, okay, start, identify problem, identify the causes of the problem by asking why did this happen, so 5 times. Then note them down in a diagram or a table. These diagrams, there are some examples, I've put it in the show notes. There's the flow chart. A flow chart if you want to if you want to run a 5 why process in your organization, in your team. Start. That's a start. Okay, identify problem. Then let's identify or ask the causes or the root cause of that. Why did this happen? And this is your goal. Go in deeper in 5 times. And note them down in a diagram or a table. For each of the causes, you identify once again ask, why did this happen? And identify their causes. And then you keep repeating this loop. Have you asked why to each problem 5 times or enough times to identify a logical root cause or what is the reason? So that's the loop. You will keep repeating it until you reach to the point where you say, okay, find solution to the root cause identified. And that's how you can follow this the flow chart. And there are so many examples in available in all way of life. And if you're you're building an architecture, you're building a software, you're building an application where there could be some problem, and then if you will go deeper 5 times, you will get to the bottom of the issues. What is the actual issue? And I like that one. That the technique which if you use a simple one, although there are other techniques available, but this is a simple one which we can follow that one. Now another process we need to follow, which, okay, you got the problem, you also need the right people in the room. That's some of the basics you need to follow to find out the root cause. The relevant teams, people, those need to be available. And then you identify the problem statement, and then ask, answer. You get the 5 times questions, and then you can brainstorm what could be the solutions, what are the solutions on that one, and then you you put a plan on that one. And then in the meeting, to decide this meeting, in the meeting, you need to have someone to assign him so that he can become a master of 5 whys. And he can run through and he can follow that one. Okay, after following the 5 whys technique, these are the identified root causes. These are the finalized actions or finalized solutions. And now we are going to go back and follow them and fix it. So that's how you can use the 5 whys technique in your team, in your organization. Personally, you can use it. Now, while reading the 5 whys, which stuck me in my mind, that frankly, that was the blame games. And I call them also 5 blames, because it's very easily that because when you brought everyone in the team, and it's very important that everyone should be in the team, in the meeting when you're calling them to identify or run the 5 whys. And that could happen that, okay, you're running the team, and then rather than focusing on the root cause or the actual problem, some of the teammates start pointing each other that maybe this fix or this problem was due to this developer or this product manager, or maybe this was the production guy, or maybe it's a manufacturer, so whatever. So rather than going into the personalities game where you put blames on each other, it's very important that you have to, because we are all human who are doing it. So it's very important that you have someone who's the master in the game, 5 whys master, so that he can be overseeing the meeting which you're running it. And rather than you got trapped into the blame game, and you start pointing failures, problems to someone, you need to go to the actual issue, actual problem. And then I think it will help all of us, including me, to get to the bottom of the issue. And because it's very, very easy that we will all stuck in the blame game, and rather than to find out the actual problem, we will start pointing to the other people that, okay, this problem happens due to this guy. That's and we need to be also be tolerant and acceptable, even if there is some problem due to some human or some person or someone in the team. Maybe he was not trained, he didn't get it, he missed it. There could be a lot of problems, and even there could be some truths we need to face it, because it may point to some senior leadership that he didn't follow, or he didn't give the proper instructions or directions, or maybe organization didn't invested money on the trainings. So there are hard truths, which can come, and you have to face it, and you have to be ready that if those type of truths got it, how to fix them and how to address them, rather than going to blame each other. So that's how you need to have your 5-way, 5 whys master who's gonna follow them and make sure that he's gonna help with you. And I hope you will start exploring this 5 whys actions or 5 whys technique in your team, whatever you're doing it. And I started following it from last two weeks. And I can give you an example. While last week I was developing one customer architecture, and I thought, okay, and there was a missing component on that one. And then I realized that, okay, if I can put 5 whys and how it happened. And then, I asked, okay, why I missed this component. And then it took me, okay, because this information wasn't available. And then I said, okay, why this information was not available? These servers or these components in the enterprise architecture. And then I asked another one. I found it that, okay, the customer didn't give. Okay, why did customer didn't give it? Okay, because I didn't ask it. And why I didn't ask it? Because I forget initially that, okay, what was the actual scope, or what was the actual target to this? And then why I forget it? Because I didn't get the information. Then why you didn't get the information? Because at that time the information was not clear. So if you go in detail, then okay, then I identified, okay, if the information was clear, that was the root cause, that okay, I need to get clarity on that one, and then you will run through the next process, so you will not miss all these things. That's how I think the 5 whys, it's a wisdom of 5 whys and 5 blames we need to keep in mind. And I hope that you will start using this technique. It's a very famous technique. And even if you are working as an employee, or you're managing your own business, start using it. It's a quick one. And thank you so much for listening the podcast, this session. And I hope that it will help you. It will help all of us. And keep sharing, keep learning from each other. Keep sharing your feedback. Thank you so much. And I will put everything in the show notes. You will find out all the references, all the methods, and the flow chart, everything, whatever I mentioned in the show notes of go to just www.otechtalks.tv/podcast, and you will find out in the podcast session number 78. I think so. Yeah, 78. Have a blessed life. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. A blessed life. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the O Tech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.